You are probably by now getting tired of Mr. Panuka talking about the QQC. That's the quality, quantity, and consistency being the holy grails of horticulture farming. Okay, but just like Bible verses of salvation, QQC is what we deliver in terms of horticulture farming, and so it's a message that we have to repeatedly, preach, about horticulture farming. So today we just want to focus on consistency, which is the C of that QQC. And we'll show you how we do this in practice here at Panuka Farm in terms of English cucumber farming. So if you are into vegetable farming, consistency is very critical, especially if you're supplying the likes of, chain stores, because what they want is for you to actually deliver the different, vegetable products quite frequently. In our case, we do deliver to our offtake around 4 times in a week. So what that means is that your production must also be, in tandem with the delivery schedule. So what we'll actually do today is to actually show you how we manage to be consistent in terms of English cucumber production. We must actually indicate that sometimes we also get caught up. Sometimes you have a bit of crop failure, lower productivity, but generally we'll actually show you just some of the principles that we actually use in terms of English cucumber consistency. So let's dive in and hear some of the tidbits on consistency. So here we have an odd crop. We transplanted, this crop on 31st January 2021. So it's about 95 days, quite old now. It's about 13 weeks and 4 days. It should have actually kept going, but we had an onslaught of down mildew. But here it is. This is how it looks, and it will be decommissioned very soon. So when you have a crop that is this old, what you actually want to see on a farm is that there's a successor to this crop. This is just in another greenhouse of the same age with the other one that we showed you. From a consistency perspective, when you have a crop like this, you want to make sure that you have another crop that is bound to take over from this one, so that you're not caught up. So you can actually see some of the scars of down mildew here. So as part of our crop succession plan, you can actually see that we have a crop here that was transplanted on the 19th of March 2021. Today it's about 48 days, and this is actually meant to succeed the other crop that you saw in the other 2 buttered greenhouses. So this is just an aerial view of this crop. So hopefully you're already beginning to see some level of consistency from the old crop to this new crop. We'll shortly show you another greenhouse. So it's just the other side of this greenhouse, looking beautiful, though we have some element of down mildew also on this greenhouse. Apparently this is something that we're actually looking into on this section of the greenhouses. So here we have another greenhouse transplanted on the same date as the other one we just showed you, 19th of March. This variety is called Bomba by Syngenta. It's a trial. It's struggled a bit, especially with aphids. You can actually see that there's a huge difference between this crop and the one that we just showed you. The other one, that's a Rags one, variety. So see the onslaught of aphids. So already, it looks a bit shaky in terms of its defense mechanisms on aphids. Look at the effects. So naturally, when you see these signs, you've got to be looking at, something to replace this, so that you're not hit in terms of your consistency in supplies. And so that is exactly what we did. We had to put in a new crop. So on the 5th of April 2021, we had to put in this lovely, crop, which as at yesterday clocked exactly 31 days, 4 weeks and 3 days. So again, this was all done in the quest for consistency, given that the other greenhouse where we were doing a trial did not perform to our expectation, and common sense dictated that now we had to go with the tried and tested variety, and that is Bologna, which is a Rags one variety that is supplied to us by Holland Green Tech Zambia. So we do undertake some diagnosis, and you can actually see a bit of yellowing of the leaves. So that's a potassium deficiency. How do we know that? We have some nutritional charts that help us with that. But we also do use some of the artificial intelligence driven applications to try and just detect what exactly is going on with our English cucumber. Okay, so that helps with a bit of precision farming. So as a successor to the other crop, you can actually see here we have another set of bologna, which is barely 3 days old. So that's the successor to the other crop that we showed you. Again, you can actually see how consistent we are. Starting from the old crop and then cascading down all the way, to this level, which is, a 3 day, old crop. So already one of the biggest lessons that you can actually, pick up from here is that you need to understand, the cradle to grave process of every crop. How long does it take for it to mature? When does it start fruiting? And at what point, does it, die off? So in our case, as soon as we record the first cut in English cucumber, we have to make sure that we have, the successor crop. And talking about succession, here is the successor already in the nursery for that crop that is, 3 days old. So this is how we roll at Panuka Farm. We have to make sure that, we're quite consistent. Though, like we indicated, we do get caught up. We're not perfect as well. But that's where, some semblance of, outgrower schemes do work so that they bridge, that gap at a time when you don't have. And I think for English cucumber, we have, a working system. So there you have it. I hope you had a good time trying to appreciate how production consistency is actually done in practice in horticulture farming. Some of the, theories in horticulture farming actually do advocate for a single crop or at least just two. So if you are actually producing at quite a large scale, given, the requirements and pressure that comes with consistency as demonstrated in this video, you actually, tend to nod to, those theories that, if you've got the market, perhaps, focus on one or two products that should account for around 70% of your total revenue on the farm. And then, other lines could just be there to augment, the core portfolio. So thank you so much for tuning in. And this is yours truly, Mr. Panuka, signing out. Have a lovely one.